Bounty Hunters. Life on the blockchain.
Welcome back to Bounty Hunters. We have today two guests who make up the group Blockian. We have Control Z and pwnmansh1p, like poning, owning you. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And where, if you don't mind, where's your accents from?
We're at Austria right now, specifically at Myrofen. This is like a ski town. And we're currently staying here. We're doing like a super long ski vacation, you can say. And we're snowboarding and researching at the same time.
Yeah,
Oh
and we
my
haven't
God.
yet shared the origin of our accents.
Oh, that's I just had to double check because I'm legally not allowed to have any more Bulgarians on for at least 12 months. That's cool, man. I've been to, I was skiing. Do you know where Owitz is?
Oh, what?
No.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in Austria, Austrian Alps.
Mm.
It's a shitty ski area. Don't go there. I picked the wrong one. You know when you go like ski or snowboard in the Alps and there's so many different spots, and Italian, French, or Austrian. You just pick one, and sometimes you just pick the wrong one. And I went with snowboards, and they had the lifts that were so old that it's just a rope, and you just hang on to it. And for snowboard, I mean, you can imagine it's terrible.
It's tough.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm also snowboarding, and this is like the toughest shit out there.
But more fun. Yeah. So guys, tell me, I don't think it was well known as, I just had Obrant on, which is like a superstar. But you guys are up and coming. I think it's fair to say you guys sent me a couple bug reports, which I looked through, which is pretty cool stuff. So kind of, I don't know, give me your background. Maybe you can go one by one and whatever you want to share and tell me how you got here.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start. This is pwnmansh1p here. So I think I've been doing vulnerabilities since forever. I just didn't know how they're called, and then maybe at uni I learned the name, and I was like, oh right, yeah, that's it. That's the thing I like doing. So I think it's been with me forever. All my jobs have been in this field. I've been a classic security researcher, like classical software security, not Web3 stuff.
Like Web 2?
Yeah. Anything low level, actually, I think.
Cool.
And then at summer in 22, I've read Saurik's blog post. Do you know that one about?
Cydia. Yeah, I read that one too.
So I read that one, and I sent it to Control Z and put it in the back of my mind. And then I had like a class in university as well about consensus protocols, and everything clicked. And I was like, okay, we have to do something about it. And that's how it happened. That's how I got into it. And Control Z has been with me since the start, so he can share how he got into it. And then we'll share our story since then.
Cool.
So I actually started like pretty late in my life, like programming at all. I started like at age 22. I started as a full stack developer, and I just learned like me and pwnmansh1p we were friends like from school. So he just showed me some CTFs and stuff like that, and I just fell in love with the security and the research part of the job. Like I found it more fun than programming. So I started like to make the moves to transition into security research, and I started doing like traditional Web 2 security. And then pwnmansh1p came to me and was like, look at this stuff, like the Web 3 stuff. There's a lot of cool bounties, and we can get into it. So we went for it, and stuff turned out pretty good.
And you said you started late in life at 22. Get the fuck out of here. You just started in life, man. That's great. So, all right. So you guys right now, you formed your group. You're calling it Blockian. Control Z, I love that name, 1337. You have the leet speak on your handle. So you guys are just doing bounties? Are you doing audits, contests? What are you focusing on?
So up until now, everything was part-time. We were doing it in the evenings and the weekends. So we did mostly bounties and just a little bit of contests and audits. But from like a month ago, since the start of 25, we've transitioned to full-time. And so we're still figuring out our balance between all the options out there. We're trying to find what's best suitable for us. I mean, obviously, there's a trade-off. So we do a bit of everything, and we're trying to find our balance.
What do you enjoy the most?
Not contests, that's for sure.
Why not?
I think like the long resolution time compared to like bug bounties, and also the fact that contests are a lot of unknowns. Like you found, let's say you find a critical in a contest, you don't have an approximation of how much you will get from it until the contest ends and the judgment phase ends. And like when you're doing bug bounties, you found a critical. There's like a clear range of what the payout would be, and everything you find is like a lot lot clearer, I think. And also, a lot of the times, like the experience of bug bounties is a lot faster. You submit a bug bounty. Although I heard some stories, and like we had some unfortunate stories with bug bounties, but most of the bug bounties that we did got paid for, and the project did not run away, and they were handled pretty fast compared to competitions. So that's I think a big win for bug bounties compared to competitions.
I think also for me the time rush in contests is a bit annoying. I think only the last competition we participated in, I really felt like I've researched everything I wanted to by the end of it. Usually, my to-do list is very long when I finish. Still not a lot to check off.
Yeah, no, I've heard the same kind of feedback on that. That's interesting. Yeah, obviously I'm more pushed towards bounties. I just had something happen yesterday, and this is kind of how bounties you get that immediate feedback loop. Most of the time, sometimes you can be kicked to the curb back in the queue. But I submitted this critical yesterday, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is big. Oh man, and I think in my head, I envisioned the cash payment, and then the code rearranged itself, and then my bounty it was totally invalid. Like I fucked up on my test, and it was embarrassing. But I said to the project, say, hey, sorry. I want to withdraw this. This is my bad. They're like, oh, no problem. It's great. But it can happen either way. But I agree with the contest, just not knowing, because you can get a critical and you get paid $100 because 50 other people found it. And I think that's such a rug pull.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same way I feel about contests. And bug bounties are just simpler, I think.
I want to hear your thoughts on, because you sent me a bug write-up on LayerZero.
Yes.
And it was kind of cool. I don't know if you want to maybe just give a brief overview of it to let everyone know what you found.
Yeah, sure. Actually, it was. I think I found this bug like exactly 2 years ago, like to the day. When I see like the date right now, because I remember it was like Valentine's when I
was
found
that version 1 of LayerZero?
Yeah, it was the first version, and it was actually like with the off-chain components of the protocol. And the way that I like got to the bug, I as I told in the beginning, I came like from a developer background, so I did like full stack and stuff like that. And when I looked at the flow of LayerZero, they're like sending messages. They're meeting those events that the off-chain components, they're catching them, and then they're submitting them to the appropriate chain, right? So and you have like lots of configuration that you can do personally to your implementation. If you're using like LayerZero yourself, you can implement a lot of configuration. Like everything is configurable. You can like choose to use other oracles and other relayers and stuff like that, or at least That's what you could do in the first version. And I thought like, if I were the one who created the protocol, then what common pitfalls might I fall into? Like, what mistakes would I make, and what parts are pretty tough to implement? So I thought that maybe like a hard part to implement correctly is processing the configurations in the same time as sending messages. Like, if everything's happening like fast enough, like maybe there would be like a race condition or something like that, because like the off-chain code, I couldn't see it, so I had to make assumptions. So they had and also and in the testnet they also had like a configuration of LayerZero and like relays and stuff like that. So I tried it over there, and I just saw that I could change the configuration to a way that I won't pay any fees to LayerZero, but they will still pass on my message for me. So I could essentially force them to pay for messages that I haven't like compensated them, and I could just like drain the funds that they have put in their off-chain components to deliver those messages. And that was a pretty nice bug that like came from more of like an idea of trying stuff, and like what would I do and what would be tough for me to implement. So it might be tough for other people, and it paid out.
So you put yourself in the role of the dev and just kind of looked at it holistically.
Yeah, exactly. That was my approach in it. I just thought how I would do it, and that worked.
All right. And what I'm going to do from now on, I'm going to put the links you gave me to write-ups, I'm going to put that in the show notes on YouTube. I think people will like to dig into this. So I know you've looked at LayerZero version 2. You have to, just out of curiosity, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of? And I did too. They paid me to do a review before they launched, and I think it's a great system. I think it's really good. I think the bugs there are obviously on the implementation side. People can make an OFT and totally fuck it up and do
Mhm.
something crazy. But I mean, the raw system that they built is really kind of it's once you get the hang of it, it's not that complicated, but it's I think it's very secure, and I like it. I wouldn't expect them to say, hey, we've been hacked on the front page anytime soon. What's your take on their current system?
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like the current system, and I gotta say, also like really fond of the LayerZero team. The experience with them was super good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, when I submitted the bug, I got like the payment in the same evening, which is super crazy.
Top notch, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have like nothing but good stuff to say about LayerZero, and the current system looks great to me as well. I think it's really robust, and like if you don't fuck it up yourself, like there shouldn't be any problems.
That's the problem. Devs are going to want to change something. Hopefully not. Hopefully that this is kind of sticking around. Do you guys remember Nomad, the Nomad bridge?
Yes.
So I remember looking at that, and I think it's Prestwich was the architect behind that, and he designed a really good system, and it worked. And that was another bridge where I was like, man, this is rock solid, and it was only fucked up by a configuration issue. And this is our world, right? Is like, even when something's rock solid, the devs just got to, and I've said this before, devs got to update. They need to change. They need to optimize, and they have to do something. They just, even if that configuration issue wasn't an issue on Nomad, then they would have went to Nomad version 2, and then they have to change something. I just saw Aave launched their next iteration. They have really good security, and they have everyone review it, but there's always upgrades and updates, and people change things. And so even if you look at a protocol like we're looking at LayerZero and we're like, fuck, I'm not wasting any more time on it because I think it's secure. Track to GitHub, look for new releases coming out. There's always some kind of attack vector I think that you should be on the lookout for.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, what you said right now is like part of what we look at in project that we want to research. Like if the project is active and like pushing lots of changes into the code and stuff like that, this is something that is very appealing for us because, as you said, maybe the code was secure like during the audit in the past, but if you keep on pushing changes constantly, you bound to sometime do some sort of mistake.
Mm-hmm. And the more people you have too, fooling around on the project, just
Yeah,
more
exactly.
things to change, and especially if you see people approving their own commits, it's always like little red flags that you could take a look at. But the interesting thing is like the flip side of that is you think something's vulnerable because it's they're deploying with like there's the console log or the mocks are in there, and but still the code's secured, and it's like, okay, well, fuck, that didn't work. There's to-dos all over the place, but it's still there's no bugs. That's the name
Yeah,
of the game.
but you gotta keep an eye on that. When there's to dos all over the place, you like make yourself a note to keep checking what's going on with that to dos.
And so, what are you doing for? Like, I use Tenderly alerts for certain contracts, deployers occasionally, not that much, but I'll have occasional Telegram messages like pinging me, "Oh, transactions done in this, blah blah blah." Do you guys have an alert system? Give me some of your methods that you guys use to find bugs.
So actually, yeah, we have an alert system, but it's like developed in house. We developed it ourselves. We have several systems. I will now like reveal our cards. Is that?
Is this a Python script and you're running a node locally? What is it?
No. It's of course it's a Python script, but like the methods that we find interesting is like maybe our secret sauce. I don't know. But like we have alerts to changes like in contracts and alerts to new commits into projects that we find interesting. Like our alert system is kind of manual. It's like not all over the project. It's like we mark the projects and the contracts that we find interesting, and we get alerts to them specifically.
Yeah, the thought behind it was that we have knowledge on stuff that we have researched already, and even if they were secure, we have put in the work and we do know a lot about them. So it would be a shame to let that go to waste. So perhaps we should monitor everything that changes within the systems that we are already aware of.
This is you also have a notes.md file. I love it. I think everyone's got some packet of notes, and you guys are monitoring all these addresses too. That's cool. I think it depends on how much effort you want to put into a lot of this stuff. I think it's a very good tactic. I wonder what your hit rate has been. I think I've had pretty low. I'd say maybe 10-20% on like an alert that's actually led me to something I was waiting for because it was certain. I knew it would happen. But other ones, I just kind of would see something and then, go check it out. What about you?
Yeah, so I think ours is actually lower. It hasn't proved itself just yet. I think up until now, most of our most interesting findings, or even most of our findings, were just based on hunches and random projects that we ran into. But hopefully, while we make this more tailored for us, then perhaps it will prove itself one day. But if not, then so be it.
Yeah, the opportunity cost is so low. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's interesting. It's like what I was looking today, right? And I was probably staring at some. I opened up my old notes and I looked at some old. I looked at a valid bug and then I said, "Well, have I looked elsewhere for this?" And I probably had. And sometimes I do this, and I started getting lost in some contracts, and then I realized I'd been to these contracts before, and I'm thinking, man, am I wasting my time? And I didn't find anything today, but just looking at like when you see something, like say it's a pattern that works and you found a bug in it, you instinctively you think, I'm going to find another one. Oh, this has to be out there. And then no one else is doing it. Like, it's a very unique pattern. And you just can't find that exact same vulnerability. And you think in your head, like, this is going to be widespread, and it's one result and you've already found it.
We have definitely had that exact experience a couple of times.
Was that with so you found the LayerZero one, you sent me two, and then the other one was basically a voting kind of exploit with this obscure Q blockchain, which I've never heard of.
I think that was like the thing that got us into it, the Q blockchain. Our first
and
bug.
did you look for? Did you say, okay, we're the voting kings now, we're governance kings, and then try to find it everywhere else where votes were cast?
Actually, yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly that.
I think we also found something other governance related, and like pretty soon afterwards, with the exact method, we were just like, okay, we had this government issue, let's search it wide, like on every project on Immunefi.
Yeah, delegations isn't easy. Let's find who did it for themselves,
and it yielded results.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like there is like the most overlooked areas by developers when they're making a protocol or when they're integrating their protocol with another?
So sadly, I think the last thing that you mentioned, the integration. I said sadly because it's the least interesting part, I think, for me. I like the very core stuff within the protocol, which is usually the least overlooked because it is clearly the place where most eyes are at. And I think the most overlooked is the integration with other projects. It's with the with new releases. Yeah.
And are you guys looking at? Do you just restrict yourself to Solidity, or do you look at Go, Rust, everything else?
Actually, we look at everything else. Our latest bug bounty, it was ZK proof stuff, and we also we like everything. Everything that could be complex enough. This is the main stuff that intrigues us. It doesn't matter if it's Solidity or Go or Rust or stuff like that. It's matter that it's complex enough to be interesting enough and probably maybe novel enough.
I think we have at least one bug in all C, JavaScript, Go, Rust, Solidity, and circuits. I think we have at least one bug in each one of these languages.
Interesting. So the ZK, that was, you found a bug in a circuit?
Yes, we have. I think we have one. We were the solo finding in an IOP in Immunefi in one of the circuits, and then one just bounty lately. So after we've been the governance kings, now we're the circuit kings.
Can you give a high level overview of that, or just a snippet of what that ZK bug was?
So I think I haven't looked at the sharing policy of the project, but the
you don't have to name them. Just maybe.
The high level is that it is when you develop a circuit, you have to think in a different manner than when you just write code, right? Because a circuit is based on the fact that there is an input that yields the output that the contract is getting, not just that when you provide the specific input, then that's what you get. And so in this specific bug, the issue was we found a different input that produced the same output. The output that was used to perform something on chain. And the mistake itself was just a generic length of a vector one, not something very interesting. But because you have to think differently when you develop a circuit, then it's easier to make these kinds of mistakes and not notice them, because the code works. It does exactly what it's supposed to be. When you provide the right input, it provides the right output, which is what most development looks like. But in this case, the question is whether there is another input that can produce the same output.
Now, how did you find that? Did you just kind of plug in numbers, guessing? Did you look at the circuit and say, "Oh, the logic's flawed here"? Did you look at the libraries? Did you fuzz it? what was your method?
No, it was manual review. So I think my method is usually just look at code, ask myself questions, and answer them until I feel comfortable enough that I know it more than the developer. So one of those questions, the answer was, "Oh yeah, it does work like that," and a bug was yielded. But I think the methodology is just to have to keep learning about the code that I'm looking at. I think that's the only thing I can say.
What would you say that when you're bug hunting, when you're looking at bugs and you're on the chain, I was thinking about this today because I know my answer. When you encounter this, what kind of shuts you down when you get on the blockchain? You get to maybe this question doesn't make sense. I'm talking about Gnosis Safe. when I get to it and I'm like, I see the governor, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be a contract, and I see the Gnosis thing pop up, and I'm like, fuck, man, god damn it, dead end. Like, is there anything on your end where you see something and you're like, fuck, man, I know this thing's rock solid?
So when we looked at voting, a lot of governance, then the voting escrow, I forgot the like the canonical contract that everybody uses. But when we saw that one, we were like, oh, damn, not again.
They didn't modify it. Damn it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about so tell me, what about your tool suite? What are you guys using? Any interesting ones you can toss out there?
I'm a big fan of regex. Regex. I don't know how most people pronounce it. Big fan.
Regex, yeah. Just throughout you download all the GitHubs and then just use regex and VS Code, or what?
Yeah, exactly. Big fan.
You can't regex on GitHub code search for some stupid reason.
No,
I don't know if anyone uses that. Yeah. Do you guys use GitHub code search?
Not so much, actually. We're like scraping all the projects and like opening it locally, like with VS Code, and we can regex over there.
Are you old school? Are you developing your own regex, or are you having GPT make it?
No, I think we both like develop our own regex.
Yeah, I mean, there's this one online tool, I forget its name, that visualizes it and helps you.
Yeah, I've seen that. I
use that one.
I don't know if how old you guys are, but if you've heard of Perl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. Whenever
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said we're both 27, but we're not keeping that secret.
It's not old, but you still heard of Perl. Yeah, that reminds me of regex whenever I think back in the day to Perl. And there's like few people that actually know it. And so what else? What else are you using for your tools? I'll drop one out there. I use, and I don't think a lot of people use this. It's called Bloxy, bloxy.info. You ever heard of it?
I don't think so. I've write it down for me though.
Yeah, the UI is kind of shit, but it's just so easy to use. You just pop it, and it's only on mainnet is the thing. So you pop in a contract, and then it shows you every single call, every single event, how many contracts called it. It just gives you all that info on one page. Whereas normally, either you got to run your own tools, you got to go to Dune, you got to browse through Etherscan, do filters. This is just like such a time saver. That's one of my favorite things to use on mainnet.
Now I looked at it and I recognize the logo, so I've probably used it. I think one that pops to mind is Falcon by Blockstack. I think we've used that one.
Oh yeah. Metasleuth and Falcon.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys simulating with Tenderly, or do you just do it in Foundry or Hardhat?
Foundry.
Yeah, Foundry.
When it's
we do a lot of non-solidity stuff as well.
In Foundry?
No, like in
when we do non-solidity stuff, though, maybe we just provide like a local copy, stuff like that.
But yeah, I think we're like not super big on tools. We like the basic stuff, like the explorers and stuff, and like Foundry and stuff for POCs and checking code. But we don't have like a lot of sophisticated tools and like tools that help us with the research itself. We have like tools that help with the processes around the research.
Yeah, we do have a long list of tools to look at that we keep growing and not checking things off it.
Yeah.
It's probably just noise. A lot of these tools, the manual method really is the best. Just read through it and just take
Yeah.
your time. Do you use
Yeah.
any performance enhancing any tools, mental tools? I know you're in Austria, so perhaps raw milk from the mountains.
Wow.
Actually, I have like the Apple Vision Pro,
Shut the
which
fuck up. You use this. You use this
I think,
for auditing.
yeah, it works like super well for me because I have like some back issues, so it's hard for me to sit like for long times. So with like the Apple Vision Pro, I can like be in any position I want. I can lay down on my back and like research in the same time and stuff like that. So it helps me a lot. Like, so it's super funny. It's stupid, but it works for me very well.
So you sit on the couch and then you have raw milk in your left hand, and then you have, and then like with your right hand, it's just in front of your face and you're manipulating everything. How do you type
Yeah,
it? I've never used
exactly.
it.
You can use a
Uh,
keyboard as well. But
yeah, you're not forced to like use your hands like a weirdo, but you can use your normal keyboard and stuff. It just helps you to like move the screen to other locations, like not be hunched over with your head all the time, and stuff like that, which is for me at least it helps my shitty back.
another
No.
industry secret for security researchers is repetitive music.
Ah,
And,
yes.
you put the same song for the entire day.
The whole day.
Yeah, and it helps you. I swear, you should try it.
What
That
are we talking? Lo-fi? Like what are you
No,
listening to?
just a song that you like that doesn't have a lot of that you know it well, so it won't distract you.
Hard house.
Put it on repeat.
Okay. All day. I don't know about that.
yeah,
Maybe it is good.
that's also
Sometimes it's 2 months.
that's not I'm not like this. So it's only
Yeah, it's only me.
penmanship. He's not talking for the both of us.
He's got electronic music on repeat, and you're sitting on the couch with an Apple Vision Pro. I do like that idea with the because I mean you sit in front of the screen. Like the method we have for doing this is so stupid for everyone using computers. Like I thought we'd have, I don't know, like a Neuralink thing years ago because we're just sitting here with the keyboard and mouse that was invented ages ago, and that's the best that we have. And we're all stuck here. Just yeah, I think what you're doing honestly makes more sense, even though it may look ridiculous. I think when they downsize it to a pair of Oakleys, then I'll start doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It does look ridiculous. Like from the side, I think it looks utterly stupid. But if it works, it works. You know.
That's true. That's true.
I think that the Vision Pro was a gift to yourself once you found the LayerZero bug, right?
No, the bin.
Oh, it was a different one. Right.
Yeah.
For motivation, then each of us has a list of what we're going to buy for ourselves if we find a bug in something that we're researching. That was
And so
one.
what's on the list? What's number one?
I think it's evolving. It's not big things. Like currently, I want to have a subscription to for just a game. It's not very expensive. I can afford it. But when I tell myself, when you find the next bug, then you can subscribe, it gives me motivation.
That's true. I mean, money is a motivator. That's why I got into this space.
Yeah.
So you guys have on your profile number 39 Immunefi all time. That's more than just those two bugs, right?
Yeah, we just like we're super bad at writing blog posts, and we always forget to write them.
Yeah, we have a long list of stuff we want to write.
Yeah, we're just a bit lazy.
And
No,
that's
not-
it. So everything's on the down low.
Yeah, but like it's not that it's on the down low. We want to write bugs, but like imagine you have like some limited amount of time, and you tell yourself, okay, what will I do with the time? Will I research or will I write a blog post? Of course, I will research. So we never get to writing the blog post because we feel like our time would be like better spent if we research. So it's hard to do other stuff.
No, I hear you. Yeah, you got to look at the upside. just for an experimentation, you could throw the POC into Claude and just say, "Hey, write me a bug report," or do a write up, and it may not be 100% accurate, but if you're looking to put some content out there, that could work.
I think we'll give it a try.
I tried it actually.
Oh, you
I tried
tried
it. I took one of my bugs and like I gave it to ChatGPT, and he just uttered like complete nonsense and like butchered the entire bug and stuff, and like he did not understand anything.
He takes like a voting bug, and there's no non-reentrant here. Yeah, it's probably-
Yeah, so like it was it did not work at all.
Yeah, no, it's hit or miss. I know. All right, so I have my alpha drop section. I hope you guys are fucking prepared. The alpha drop bug tip that I like to throw out there. So I'll do mine first. I was thinking about this morning as I unsuccessfully was looking for bugs, as is always the case. But it did remind me of a bug that I submitted a while back, and that is to think outside the contracts. So, like what you guys do, you look holistically at it and you think about the back end. This was a bug where it had an agent on the back end, just whatever, Rust or cron job, whatever it was, but it was like an ID, and I could set that ID just to a max uint, and that was able to crash the back end. I think it was Rust. It crashed the back end, which made the protocol not work. And it was like this stupid thing. You know, you look at the contract and you think, oh, this is dumb. But these are things that devs just may not have thought about. Maybe you do all the tests on Solidity and everything checks out. But then when you think about how those interact with the back end, they might not have done all those kind of whole system tests that integrate everything. So that's my alpha drop. What do you got?
So I think I have one. Maybe controls will have another one as well. So for me, it's that you have to have some sense or measurement of progress, because both mentally, so that the brain needs the dopamine of success, and you're gonna go a while before you find something, and so you have to have some sense of progress, and also to prevent from being stuck. I mean, it's easy to be stuck in a loop when researching something, to read all the functions and then just read them again, and nothing will happen. So it could be artificial. You don't have to you can't measure how close are you to finding a bug, but you have to have something just for the dopamine and the progress. For me, it's that I keep a to-do and questions list that just keeps growing, and I just check things off that list, even small things. Everything that I need to do with the research I'm doing at the moment goes on that list. And so I can see the list growing, I get the dopamine, and also I learn more about the project as I go. And I think it made the biggest difference from when I was just researching and documenting what I was seeing.
Very nice.
I think like my alpha drop is like try to monitor like bugs that are happening like right now, and like bug fixes in code, and like monitor the fixes of those bugs, because lots of time like someone submits a bug and like gets paid, and as a bounty hunter you won't necessarily look at the fix of it. You will get paid, you will be happy, and you will continue with your life, which was my mistake. A couple of times I submitted a bug, I did not check the bug fix, and then a couple of months later I saw that someone else found like a bug in the exact place that they fixed the vulnerability that I told them. I just did not check what they did afterwards. So I learned like from that it's a good idea to always check the fixes to your bugs, and like check fixes to other people bugs, like monitor what's getting fixed and how it's getting fixed, and if you can like squeeze of it some like low hanging fruits like easily, that could be nice.
That is a good tip. I think I've only checked maybe a couple bugs that like check the fixes from bugs that I've submitted, but that is really good because I've seen write-ups where they've opened up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, exactly. That's
We've-
what's happened to me.
Yeah, I think we've had a contest that we participated in that we looked at all bug fixes that the project had in the past, and we found bypasses for like 50% of the bugs that they have fixed.
Oh, very nice. You know, the projects are not they're very clandestine when they put a fix out there. Like when they put it on GitHub, and it's hard to dig in there and find it. Obviously, because I know why. You know, especially if you have live code out there, you don't want anyone to know. But they're very sneaky about. You rarely see big fucking security bug right here. Here we're fixing it. Like you never ever see that actually. It's like, it just humble fixes, just humbly fixing some code here. Pay no mind to this.
They're trying to hide it between other commits. Yeah.
Oh,
But
sneaky devs.
there is some heuristic that you can use to like help your chances of finding those fixes.
Tell
And
us.
hmm?
Tell us. Spill the beans.
That's the secret. No, I mean, for example, something that I'm trying to do, it is not prove like it actually proved a bit interesting. Is that I monitor like the leaderboard of Immunefi, and like anytime I see like a big enough movement in the leaderboard, I see like a change in the in someone's place, and I can see like in how much their place changed. For example, there's this researcher, and he has currently like 50K that he had up until now, and then something changes, and he has like 150K. So I know that he made 100K probably from bounty, and I can like look at projects that offer 100K and maybe find where he found the bug. And
That's
then
really
like
going deep.
that's that worked for me once, but that's an idea.
I think no idea is too far out there for bounty hunting. I think very strange ideas can lead you to strange places, and
Yeah.
it just may be the right place, right time.
Yeah, I think the last bounty we had, we found it because someone tweeted the project they were researching. They didn't specify what project it was, but they left enough hints that we found that project, and we had motivation to. That's how we got into the project, and we had enough motivation because it felt like a competition, and then we found it.
Can you give anyone details about Celestia?
About Celestia.
Yeah,
You mean because of our tweet?
that's all I'm looking at. Does anyone have a connection to Celestia? you do what I'm doing, just post it out there, see if you can connect with the devs.
Oh, you've done that as well?
I do it a lot, and it always works great.
It
Really?
works great to you,
Nice.
really.
For us, it did
Well,
work. We don't
you
have
guys,
far enough
you
reach.
need more followers. Yeah, you only have 500.
Yeah, we need to have
Hopefully, everyone follows you guys, and you can easily get it. I mean, you could reach out to me. I have some back channels with a bunch of people that I know. So any future, if you want to connect with anybody, just shoot me a message.
So we still haven't managed to get a hold of Celestia.
Okay, so it's still valid?
It's still a connection that we need, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll connect you on my Telegram, and we'll try to hook you up with those guys.
Nice.
Cool.
So already came up with this.
Yeah. So what would you say is what's like the longest you've gone with no bugs, nothing? You haven't found shit.
I think we've had a while because it was always like a part-time thing for us. We've had times when we didn't even put the time. So it's a bit hard to tell. Maybe a couple of months. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm also not. I'm sure like it's more than a single month. It's like a couple of months probably. But as partnership said, it's like it's hard to quantify because like we haven't been doing it like full time. It was a part time thing. So like, did we not research enough, or did we just research something that is not good, it's hard to tell like what was the reason for us not finding bugs in those months.
Yeah, and I think it was also less memorable because it wasn't that important because we both had jobs, and so we didn't feel the sense of urgency of earning something to put bread on the table. Maybe now
Yeah.
that we've found full time, uh, we will answer this question in a year. We'll tell you.
And so what is this is interesting. Takes me on the thought of like a career path for a bug hunter because I'm seeing your profile where you also take audits. What's your plan for this business? Where do you see your guys' future going? Do you just want to stay bug hunting? You want to do audits? You want to be a full Web3 security solution? Tell me your plans.
So I think like as we said like in the beginning, the bug bounties is the most fun part. This is why what we were doing like mostly in the last 2 years. But now that we transition to full time, we also want to do like more audits and more competitions to have like a steady paycheck as well. Because like now we are interested in having like a money flow on a somewhat regular basis, and you can't guarantee it with bug bounties because let's be realistic, it's highly probable that we'll have a long time without finding anything, and like this is like the job. So our current plan is to really start um, like shifting our time to be more not 100% bug bounties, like more 50% bug bounties, 50% competitions and audits, and work from there. And I think we don't have like 5 years ahead plans. We have like the current year ahead plans, and this is our current plan. Like we'll see where it takes us like in the future. Maybe we'll evolve like to a bigger Web3 solutions company or stuff like that, and maybe we'll stay like in the audits and research space exclusively. And who knows? Like the future will tell.
Yeah, this is our time to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. That it's interesting. You're using bug bounties as kind of leverage to get your name out there, and then build on top of that. I got to say, it's a slippery slope. You're talking about 50% audits and competitions, but then you're going to see that money roll in, and then you're going to say, fuck these bug bounties. They don't pay as well.
Yeah, we're trying to keep track of our time in a way that is visual and reminds us that we have to split it between everything that we want to get done. But maybe we'll find out that you're right, and it's a slope that we've fallen into, just like when Control is snowboarding.
Do you guys split everything 50-50? Like one guy finds a bug, the other doesn't? Do the profits go straight down the middle?
Yeah, straight down the middle. I think it gives us a lot of the freedom to take risks and to try and research projects that are maybe seem secure, and one of us can do something that is of higher chances of a reward but a lower one, and the other one can take more risks. And so if we won't split it halfway, we'll change the dynamic and everything will be different. And we like the way that it is right now.
Yeah, you must trust each other very well and know each other very well to make that kind of deal.
Yeah, because even if one of us finds a bug and the other one didn't put anything into that specific research, whatever he was doing at that time or beforehand allowed the other one to research what he was researching. Like everything is built on top of each other.
So what if you guys tomorrow you crack some crazy bug in LayerZero and you get that massive $12 million bounty? Does that change anything?
50-50, and like we both buy a building.
Oh, very cool, man. Is there anything else you guys would like to share that because we have a lot of I get a lot of feedback on this podcast from a bunch of guys that seem to be brand new in the field, and I get guys that are just interested in it. But any of the new guys out there, because this is a hard field to kind of stay in it for the long game, because you don't find shit for a long time, and it's very demoralizing. So I like what you said about just kind of keeping a progress and tracking yourself on that. Anything else either of you would like to add to guys that just getting started? Maybe they just found a bug or haven't found their first bug.
I think like if someone already found his first bug, like the feeling is super addictive, so it would be easier to go on from there. But like before finding your first bug, I think it's like the hardest part. So like you need this first success, like as Partnership said, like the dopamine rush to get you to push forward. So I think like a good approach can be to like have at least small wins in the beginning, like even getting a small amount paid, like maybe start from competitions or stuff, or like it depends really on your personality, like what your background, what you prefer. But like it's important to have those first wins, because after you have those, like not necessarily, when I say like win, it's like not necessarily placing first in a competition, is like having this success feeling, like finding something and like getting even $10 out of it, like having this sort of uh, feeling that you can get something out of it, and it helps push you forward. So I think like this is pretty important, and like can help motivate beginners and like people who are starting in the space to keep going.
I think another thing that I've shared with someone in the past week, and I think it's true not only for security research, but probably to everything that you're trying to get done. But if you're feeling stuck with something that you're doing, then just learn something that is related to it. It doesn't have to be directly related. It doesn't have to be the exact thing that you're researching right now, but just take a break and learn something, anything. And I think for me, it helped a lot in the past to either just open my mind for other things, or to give me the push that I needed with that specific thing that I was trying to get done, not just with research, but generally.
All right, man. Very good tips. Thank you. Guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. If you guys want to stay on for a second, I just want to chat after I stop recording, if that's cool.
Yeah, sounds cool.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming. And that ends this episode. See you next time on Bounty Hunters.